what is unshakable confidence? So, unshakable confidence is not boastful, it's quiet, but it's very powerful. You don't have to convince someone that you're confident. You have to reassure them, oh, I'm confident because you just are. And so, why is it important? We're not born with confidence, but then life happens and we start experiencing things that bring in fears. Maybe people react to us a certain way and that causes us to have fears. I had a big fear of judgment or people not liking me or people thinking I was wrong or bad, or there's a list. When I came into the online marketing space and I wanted to do live video, it was terrifying. The idea of coming on video at all made me tremble in fear. I felt like I was a pretty competent person until came online and started doing videos. And then it felt like I went backwards, way back. I have a few tips on how to reach that unshakable confidence, but I want to cover why it's important because we can go on the way we are. I could have gone on forever if I never came on video or tried to create a business online where I had to be showing up, posting content, being seen. That's when I realized, oh my goodness, this is not something that is comfortable. And so my reaction, my gut instinct would have been to just quit or not do it or find some other way. And I'm going to tell you, if you are wanting to grow a business online, video is the way to get people to know, like, and trust you, people to see you, to relate to you. And because I did the work I'm sharing with you today, because I did things to counteract the fears and insecurities that I didn't even realize I had in some ways, I'm able to be here in this space and not be in a state of fear. I can just be talking. Now, will I edit this video a little bit? Yes, because you don't want to hear all the stutters and all that because it can be distracting. We're going to cover several different ways that our lack of confidence affects us, but I want to share with you what it looks like when you are confident. Because I think it's easy for me to point out all the ways that we can be insecure or not confident. And you may or may not resonate with them. But when you see someone or hear about someone that's confident and standing in that power, then you start seeing, am I that way? Am I 100% in that space? And then you can backtrack and go, okay, this is where I might need to do a little work. And so the first one is being confident in your thoughts. And this is what this looks like. People who are confident in their thoughts, they trust their own judgment, even if people disagree. Don't wait for permission. They move forward in peace, even if things are uncertain. I relate so much to this where I doubted myself. If someone disagreed with me, I thought, well, I must be wrong. And then I would have a conversation with someone and I would agonize. Did I say something wrong? Especially if they didn't respond the way I thought they should. And usually what happens when someone's not responding to you the way you think they should, or you walk by someone and you smile and say hi and they don't even look at you, and your first reaction is, what's their problem? I would suggest you reframe that and wonder what they're going through that day that they can't look at you and say hi because they're so into what's going on in their world, right? It's not you. And so when you stop internalizing everything that someone does and turn the focus on someone else and stop thinking about what they're thinking about you, because reality, we don't think about what people say and what they're doing. So a lot of times when we do that, when we're agonizing over the things people say, we assume they are agonizing over what we say. So that might be something to look at, right? If you're in that space of, they said this, they've said this, what does that mean? Do they hate me? Are they judging me? Do they think I'm something XYZ? So just pay attention to that. The second way a person shows up confident is in their actions. They say yes to opportunities that scare them because they know that growth lives there. I remember the first time I was invited to talk on a summit. I will never forget it because I had never done one before. My first reaction was yes, because I knew that's where I needed to go. My second reaction was why I should probably back out. And because I didn't, I got through that and I went to the second summit and then the third and spoke on podcasts. And the fear of showing up can feel real. But once you do it, and so people that are confident, they get into action and they do the things that scare them because they know that on the other side of fear is growth. Number two, they speak up in meetings, which I'm just going to stop right there. I remember when I first came online, I was so afraid to speak in a Zoom room where more people were there. And I don't know, it was my interactions with some people. I don't know what the fear of video was, but I was so afraid to show up on any kind of video. So in a Zoom room, I wouldn't speak. I would just listen because I was so afraid of saying something wrong. And so someone that stands in their confidence, they speak their mind in a meeting, they show up on live video, they launch the thing. I remember the first time I launched a program, it was with my partner at the time, and we just did it. We literally did it within 2 weeks. We created the funnels, the graphics, the training, everything was done within a 2-week period because we were on a time crunch and we got it done. But if we had waited till we were ready, we probably would never have launched it. So, number three, in the actions that people take that are showing up in confidence is that they always follow through. They stand in integrity with the promises they make and the dreams they have and the boundaries they've set. I know that was very difficult for me until I really got clear on my core values. And one very high on the list is integrity. And it challenged me because there were times that I wanted to chase this other thing, this shiny object, or I made a decision that wasn't in an integrity with who I was. And having that boundary, that core of who I was and knowing that and being clear, and that's who I wanted to be. And making that decision, it became very, sometimes difficult because like it was a transition. It was a little painful sometimes, but it felt good. And the more I did that, the easier it got. And now when someone asks me to do something, or I'm no longer tempted to veer off that core. So number three is how a confident person shows up in their business. They market their offers with clarity because they believe in the value. Understanding the value of what you're putting out and believing in that. And that starts by knowing what your mission is. Who are you wanting to help and serve? What is that? You've heard this probably. What is your why? Getting clear on that and then creating that solution and being clear on that and having that confidence, that is what your audience needs, can help you build that confident muscle. And number two in that section of how to build confidence in your business is they don't have to hustle for validation. They're anchored in their purpose. And when something doesn't work, they tweak it. They don't spiral. Oh my God, I could talk about that all. I spent, I don't know how many years spiraling every time something went wrong or I just felt off. And so it feels so good. And I'm not going to say I never spiral, but knowing that whether it's marketing, it's creating content, writing an email that lands flat, like I had an email series I created and got good open rates, but hardly any clicks. And so I could have spiraled in the old days, years ago. I probably wouldn't have wrote another email for a month. But what I have learned is to see these things as evidence, as saying, okay, it's not personal. What can I do? What can I tweak? If they're opening, the headline is obviously good. The subject line is spot on because I've got the good open rates, but they're not clicking. So there's something in the content that's either A, they're not feeling it, like the way I wrote it, the wording needs to be readjusted, or two, the offer doesn't land. So I'm offering something that I either have the wrong audience or I need to retweak the offer because I won't say that the offer is not valuable. It just may need some adjustment. And the next one is they're confident in their faith. If you don't know me, my name is Tanya Smith, and I help online marketers achieve that content to sales conversion and to make it as simple as possible. And one of the things I also add into my business and work with my clients is walking in faith, not fear. And that is exactly what a confident person does in their faith. They've chosen. And I believe that faith over fear is a choice. I believe that choosing to not allow fear to override you and take over is a complete choice. Now, there are situations that we're in fear that makes sense, right? But we don't have a lot of those. There's a fear reaction or your adrenaline kicks into gear when something is happening and that you need to make immediate automatic reaction. You've heard the analogy, if a bear's chasing you, then obviously that's a fear response and it's smart because you're going to run. But that's not the norm. Number two is confidence in their faith is their self-worth is not centered around how many likes they get, how many comments on their posts. They know that they are confident in who God has made them and created them to be. And so, on a business perspective, faith and business, knowing who you are and knowing that you have the heart to serve, you know that your content's valuable. So it's not a personal attack when someone doesn't like you or like your content. It's not that they don't like you, right? And so standing in the power that you are who God says you are. When you know that God has empowered you, He's equipped you and enabled you to do all things with Him, then you know there's nothing to stand in your way. And with that, you can't help but feel confidence. And the very last but not least is someone with unshakable confidence is they are confident in their relationships. They set boundaries without guilt. They cheer for others without comparing themselves. They are who they are. There's no mask. They're not trying to act like someone else. And I can promise you, when I started out, I was not going to show up as me. I was scared of that because who wants to see me? I'm not for everyone. And once you understand that, standing in confidence in that space, your relationships will grow because you will attract and choose the people that get you and you get them. Why waste your time trying to interact and engage with people that don't get you? And you can figure it out pretty quick. Unshakable confidence is not about never being scared. It's about doing the thing anyway. It's about trusting in who you are and who God is and what you're here to do.